When I was editing my recent video talking about some leaks and rumors for Kamen Rider Gotchard and King Gotchard, I was a bit upset while editing to realize that this image of Gotchard, it's the only image we had of him doing a rider kick. It's kind of annoying to put in a video. And then a few days later, Toei gave us the official announcement with a poster and tons of info, so let's talk about it. Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube, and Toei has officially announced Kamen Rider Gotchard as the next entry in the Kamen Rider franchise, and gave us a lot of details about the story and stat. If you've already seen the news, then be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are, if you're excited or not. And if you haven't seen the news, guess what? I'm going to talk about it in this video, and I've got some links in the description. So the official website is up and running right now, which is where I'm going to be reading all this information from, and there's some other things which I'll get into. So anyways, what they say is, in the year 2023, the 5th Reiwa Kamen Rider Gotchard will be running toward a new future. Its motif is cards and alchemy. An alchemist masked rider who can manipulate cards in a variety of ways will be born September 3rd, which will actually put us at 49 episodes for Kamen Rider Geats, because we're going to take a break in August, and then it will end in August. Alchemy is the art of creating gold by combining different elements. It might not be what they're trying to say, but whatever. One of its mysterious usages in research includes an attempt to create living things artificially. In this show, the story unfolds in the present day, where these experiments have succeeded unnoticed. The key to the story of Kamen Rider Gotchard is the artificial life form monsters called Kemis, created with the best alchemy technology available. Kemi is a life form made in the image of grasshoppers, steamliners, and all other life forms that exist in this world, and there are 101 of them. They were supposed to have been carefully stored, but they all escaped the cart and were released all at once. Ichinose Hotaro, a high school student who accidentally gets caught up in this incident, is entrusted with Kamen Rider Gotchard's transformation belt, the Gotchard driver, seems like they're doing a fun pun thing there, and given the mission to retrieve the unleashed Kemi. Kemi is a reassuring presence that will become a companion of humans if it resonates with a good heart, which just seems to be what's happening with Hotaro when he becomes Gotchard. He's fusing two Kemis, I guess, together. On the other hand, when Kemi combines with human malice, it risks giving birth to the Monster Margum, not sure what that's trying to say, and is the very essence of good and evil, two sides of the same coin. And then they give us some descriptions of the suit, which, you know, it's the suit. We've already seen it for a while, but what I find a little fun about it is that they specifically point out the chrome parts. They're like dazzling, shining blue body is the wording they use to embody the bright and energetic personality of the main character, Hotaro. So we don't really have much information on the main character, but they do kind of give us a bit of information about him with this. So apparently he's gonna have a habit to say gotcha, which is supposed to sound like gacha in Gotchard or Gotchard. No, Gotchard, gotcha. I don't know why they bring up gacha. And they say it means I got it, but I think most people know what gotcha means, which not only is kind of fun because it's part of the name, but also means like there's a funny connection to Go Sager, right? Because that was their thing said gacha or gotcha. They also used cards. The mask's compound eyes, which look like two arrows facing each other, are another attractive feature, I agree, expressing the alchemist's ability to combine two powers to create more than twice the power of the other. So I included that because I think it's fun. They do point out what we were saying, like the arrows are kind of like symbolizing the combination of the powers. That's what they said. They also say Hotaro combines two right Kemi cards and transforms into Kamen Rider Gotchard by alchemizing them with the Gotchard driver. The key visual release this time depicts Kamen Rider Gotchard Steam Hopper, which he uses using Hopper 1, and Steamliner, which we already knew about and have seen those cards. And then this was kind of expected, but they do specifically say that Kamen Rider Gotchard will be appearing next week in the Kamen Rider Geats summer movie. And they say you should go and see the breathtaking scene when he appears in the movie, which, I mean, most of the cameos are breathtaking, so I will give them that. So this is actually also really interesting because last year, our first look at Geats came from the summer movie, like the day it came out. And the year before, with Revice, that happened with like the poster coming out, but they didn't really address it until the movie came out. So they usually don't acknowledge the existence of the next Rider season until they appear in the movie, I think this might be the first time, at least in a long time, that they acknowledge, they show off, they announce the next Rider season before the movie. Like, they're giving us the poster and everything before we've seen him in action. Well, that's not true. They did release a little short of Gotchard doing poses, and they said they're going to start doing stuff like that. So I guess they saw me making my shorts reviews, and then they decided to copy that and make their own shorts, because they've been striking some of my shorts. I know for a fact there are people at Toei watching my short reviews and getting rid of them. If you've ever wondered, some of you have commented, thomasjujube, where did your short review go? If my short reviews disappeared, it's because they strike them and took it down. So, okay guys, yeah, sure, I see you. You can go ahead and make your short videos. I mean, it lets me put a nice visual here, maybe even the thumbnail, without, having to use the poster that everyone's probably going to use. But you don't have to strike my things. I feel like it's a funny coincidence that once they start making YouTube shorts to advertise, it's after they've been getting rid of mine. So that's the story stuff that we have so far. I'll talk a bit about my thoughts on it in a bit, but I first want to talk about the staff. They've given us a list of the staff, and the staff is really interesting this season, I feel. So they gave us the script writers. One of them is Keiichi Hasegawa, and the other is Hiroki Uchida. Uchida wrote like one episode each of Ultraman X and Orb. The big things, I think, are they wrote some episodes of Kamen Rider Saber, specifically like the Cross Saber episodes and the debut, so that's really cool. And they also wrote some of the Revice specials, like Girls Remix and the recent Jugo Tekka one. The thing I'm really excited about is Hasegawa. So they've been the secondary writer for Kamen Rider Double, Forze, Drive, and Ghost. And I haven't seen any of those seasons. No, wait, I have seen Double. I completely forgot that. But at least I've seen some people say the episodes he wrote of those seasons have been good. At least what I know specifically is he wrote some of the final episodes of Saber, which I thought were cool. He's written tons of Ultraman. Tiga, Dyna, Gaia, Cosmos, Nexus, Mebius, and Ginga are some of the ones listed. But the biggest thing, and this is the reason now I'm actually pretty excited for this show, is he wrote SSSS Gridman, and he also was involved in Dynazenon and Gridman Universe. So not to get in a big tangent, I love SSS Gridman. Yes, part of it is because Majin's in it, but also, like, it's really cool. The main characters are high schoolers, and as mentioned in the story, it's gonna be about a high schooler. So presumably we're taking place in a school. So he knows how to write like really cool stories, like tokusatsu stories in high school. Like SSS Gridman has really interesting conflicts with Gridman living in the high school, and he has to go and do Gridman things while high school stuff is happening. So we have, like, at least it seems like we're going to be getting someone who knows what they're doing with this high school environment. So I'm really excited for that. We've gotten some listings for the director. I don't know how, like, impactful any of this is, because usually, like, the directors kind of rotate throughout, but might as well mention it. One of them is Ryuta Tasaki, and they directed a lot of, like, pretty much every season of Kamen Rider from Kabuto to Geats, minus Exit and Saber. And Geats specifically directed the Heaven Hell arc, so that's pretty cool. The action director, I don't think he's actually been the action director for anything, but he's been a suit actor for Sentai since Live Man, and he was Gokai Red, so that's pretty cool. The special effects director is Hiroshi Butsuda, and special effects directed. I don't know how important this is, but I did find it interesting on Writer Wiki. They have a credit for Ultraman versus Kamen Rider, so that's fun, I guess. The music is pretty fun because it's being made by Hiroshi Takaki, and they made the music for Shinkenger and Loopat, and I can't really remember it. No, I can't actually. I was like, I can't really remember any music in Shinkenger, and then I remembered that the transformation music in Shinkenger is some of the best in Super Sentai, and the Loopat music is also pretty... Actually, I would also say it's some of the best in Super Sentai, at least for the Lupin Rangers. So, at least we're in probably for some great music in the season. And then there's some producer stuff, but I can't really... Like, nothing comes up online looking for some of these people's names. At least I couldn't find anything, so... And then the most important thing is that we're getting our press conference August 9th. So, basically, the timeline is next week. Gotchard's going to appear. We're going to get some people talking about his first appearance in action and stuff. And then about 2 weeks later, we're going to get the press conference and the trailer and the cast and all that stuff. But we already got the staff ahead of time, which is kind of cool. So now I just want to speculate, maybe overanalyze some stuff. First of all, here's the poster, which I've probably already put on screen in this video. One quick thing is that I thought it was a stadium at first, but then when we got the HD picture, it turns out it's actually like a rooftop, probably the rooftop of the school. And if you look closely, there's like buildings in it, but the school's implied to be the tallest building. Like in this photo, that's what it looks like. So maybe there's an alternate dimension thing going on with the monsters. One thing that I do want to point out is that the mouth looks like to be like part of the train, and we already knew the helmet was like the hopper with the goggles. So it looks like the top half is one card and the bottom half of the helmet is another card. We got a bunch of cards here. Obviously, you can see Hopper 1 and Steamliner that go together, and we can also see Pirate, Pilots, and Mad Wheel, which we've also seen previously. Now, we can also see Kamantis. I believe it's at the top. That's a card that we've kind of had descriptions of before. And we can also see the bike behind Gotchard. And you can also see the card for the bike right next to it, which is Gold Dash, it seems. Which is very interesting that, like, one of his forms is just a bike. I don't know if this adds to the theory that maybe some of the cards are just going to be attacks. Or, I don't know, it would be kind of weird if one of his forms, just a side form, is his rider machine, or like the rider machine's part of it. I don't know. One thing I did just realize is, so if the cards are supposed to be like monsters, if they're tied to the monsters, then presumably Gold Dash the bike is alive. Also, maybe not a rider like some other seasons, but maybe it's a monster. He befriends this monster and it becomes his rider machine. Something to think about, because some people have been pointing out there's like R's you can see on the bike, so that could be what's happening here. Then a bunch of the other cards you can't really make out, but we've had some listings of cards that are coming out. So I did look closely and guess, looking at the bars and just kind of the general imagery. Actually, on the right side, I'm pretty definitive this one's Dancer. We know we're getting a Dancer card. So then there's this left one under his arm. I think it's Fire Truck because it looks like Vehicle. We know we're getting that card, and it seems like it matches the numbering of that card that we had leaked. Near his head, I think this one's Cowboy because it seems like it's a person. And then again, I think the power level matches Cowboy's description. And then near the foot, I think it's Submarine because again, I think we have a vehicle, and then it matches descriptions and stuff. So as I mentioned, I am actually pretty excited for the high school thing. I haven't seen Forza, so I don't really know how good. This is the last high school Kamen Rider season. But at least, like, before this, actually, I was interested in, like, if it's trading card stuff happening, which it seems like is happening. I don't remember if I said it, but I believe it's been described, the Ride Chemi cards are described to be trading cards in-universe, which is exactly what I wanted. I think it'll be really fun to see how the interactions happen with that. But I am like a bit worried / curious because it describes the cards as being made from the alchemists and they're tied to the monsters. So like, were these cards trading cards already and then they tried to make monsters from it, and now some of the cards in the school are now monsters? Or is it like Gaim, and they made the cards with the monsters and then distributed, and then they distributed it to the students? I can't say that word, just pretend I said it right. Then I'm really interested, how does a high school student get this high-tech driver? Like, is he like a chemist at the school and he's like at an internship and it explodes and now he's got the belt? Why did they give a high schooler a belt? Why was a high schooler part of the secret monster creation program? Maybe it is part, like it's a secret part of the school and he wasn't supposed to be there and now he's accidentally part of everything. I think that makes the most sense, but that's something I am curious about. And then now that we know it is taking place in a high school, I have to assume that Decade is going to be a teacher in this high school, and then that's how he becomes a Kamen Rider in all of this. I was recording my outro, and then I realized something else, and I'm adding it in here. We don't have any description of a monster faction. We have the Chemi monsters happening from this experiment with the cards, but there's no, like, this, they created the monsters here. It's not like the monsters already existed and something happened or something like that. So that is interesting. There's no description of, like, a monster faction here. So either that's going to happen in the show, or maybe they're just not telling us, or maybe, at least from hearing this at right now, it does sound like that perhaps it'll be like a Geats thing, where we don't have like a big boss really in the beginning, and we can focus on the character interactions, which I would assume would be very important, because again, as this Gridman writer, and the high schoolers, you know, I want these classmates to interact with each other and feel like classmates. I assume most of the supporting cast will be classmates because it's in high school. That's I guess that's my biggest hope for the show right now. I want to get invested in this high schooler and his friends. I want to like feel this camaraderie with his friends. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and we have no description of big villains, so it seems like we might be doing that in the beginning at least. So let me know what you think of the new Gotchard news. Are you excited? Are you not as excited anymore? Be sure to check out my previous video where I talk about some of the rumors about Decade appearing in the show. I'm currently working on a revised review, but that's being delayed because I have to make this video. So if you want to see that as soon as I'm done, be sure to check out my Patreon. You can get your name on screen right now as well, in addition to a bunch of other perks. And be sure to subscribe to the channel as well, so you can hear my thoughts on Kamen Rider Gotchard once it drops September 3rd, or maybe I'll make a video on the press conference as well. You can let me know that. But yeah, I hope to see you next time.